business must have to succeed. And probably for some of you, it's going to be an eye-opener. For others of you, when I first start this, you're going to roll your eyes for about the first 30 seconds. But trust me, hang in there, because there's going to be a big payday. Ladies and gentlemen, quite seriously, I've had more experience than the average teddy bear when it comes to business. You see, I know what causes a business to succeed, and I know what causes a business to fail. And so what I'm going to share, probably over the next 15 or 20 minutes, are just the things that I've observed by working with literally thousands of businesses around the world, because I want to help you not make the mistakes that I made as I was growing my numerous companies. So we're going to have a lot of fun, and what I want to do is, I was going to use a different technology, but I had a bit of a hiccup with that, and so it's going to be a bit of a challenge me seeing the comments in here, which is a shame. I will have it fixed for our next live, but for this one, ladies and gentlemen, I do want you putting your comments into Facebook there, and I'm going to look at all of them. I am going to look at all of them. I wonder if I can get this thingamajig to work. Just bear with me, guys. It may kick in. I might get lucky, because I would love to respond to you in real time. So, connected. Oh, gosh. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I do want the comments in the chat. So let's test this out, guys. Put a comment into the chat for me, into the comments section, and let me know where you're coming from, who you are, what sort of business you're involved in. I want to see if the digitalis here works, and if my expensive technology is worth the money I invested in it. So again, it is test and measure, ladies and gentlemen. And the reason I am as good as I am is because I'm willing to fail. So with that being said, here's what's going to happen. So firstly, I'm going to talk to you about these 3 critical systems, but there's going to be a tweak to it. Okay, what I want you to do is I want you to look at this from a certain perspective. I don't just want you sitting there numbly listening to me. I want this to be very interactive. So take notes and watch carefully, because you are going to learn a few insights, ladies and gentlemen. So here we go. Okay. Don't you love your technology? So hopefully you can see my screen here right now. Aren't I a handsome devil? And what I want you to do, as you're learning what I'm about to share with you, is I want you to approach it as if you are a business consultant, okay? I want you to be thinking, okay, I'm going to be looking at the benefits of this business, and I'm going to be seeing if it's going to be a worthwhile investment, and if my client should be investing in it or not. And so as you do this, as we go through this checklist, you're going to start to see why it is so simple. If you have the right systems in place, how you can fast track your success by leveraging the knowledge of others before you. So here we go. Now, think about this. And remember, you all have a choice. When you're choosing a business vehicle, you always have the choice of whether you're going to choose a jalopy. That means a business vehicle that keeps breaking down, causes you stress, doesn't make you a lot of money, and causes massive aggravation for you. Or if you want a racing car, which is going to get you to the finishing line faster than the average teddy bear. I refer to it as the speed wealth zone, because there really is a speed wealth zone, ladies and gentlemen. So I don't know about you, but I'd much prefer to be in a racing car than a jalopy. And so these principles that I'm sharing with you will help you choose a racing car and not be lumbered with a jalopy that will prevent you from achieving what you want in your business career. So last week I talked about 3 areas. I'll just quickly touch base on them again, because we're going to combine the 2 of them for what I want to share tonight. So last week I talked about when you're looking at a business, you want to make sure that you've got a product or a service that's got high margin, so lots of profit in it. You've got good psychology, so lots and lots of people want what you have to offer. And this is optional, but you really should consider the lifestyle, because there are some industries where you really have to give your heart and soul. I mean, for example, industries like cafes and restaurants and bakers, they put extraordinary hours in to get to the finishing line. I mean, extraordinary. And so that's okay, but you want to know the deal before you get into the game. You don't let your emotions get hold of you and say, oh, this looks so good, and you hand over the money, and then you're trapped in this life that maybe you weren't really willing to commit to, okay? So once you've ticked those 3 boxes, now we come to the 3 critical systems that every business must have. Okay, so the first one is a reliable, predictable lead generation system. Now, there's some of you out there that are probably saying, as if I didn't know you need a lead generation system for your business. Well, stay with me, ladies and gentlemen, because there is a big payoff here in a moment. So you must have a reliable, predictable, affordable lead generation system. You need to observe it. You need to know it exists. Then you need to see how effective their sales system is. Notice the magic word here. I don't know, can anyone see what the magic word is here? It's a system, okay? Systems are incredible things. And the third critical system is a great delivery system. So in other words, it's your keep your promises system. All we have on this planet is our reputation. So when we lose our reputation, we've got nothing. So you got to be able to wow your client and make sure that you over-deliver on what you promise your client. So I'm going to go into depth now, and this is where the big payday comes for each of you. And remember, I want you looking at this as business consultants observing an opportunity, okay? So we'll speak to lead generation first. We want to investigate their lead generation system, okay? So you start asking these sorts of questions. Have you got your pen and paper ready? You want to be saying to yourself, okay, well, what are your lead generation systems? Noah's just, oh, actually, that's a cool thing. Noah, great to see you on the training here. Thank you for sending me that that message. I can stay connected because my phone is here. Oh, there we go. Good on you, Noah. So you want to look at what the lead generation systems are, okay? And so there should be a minimum of 5. Now, the reason I say you need a minimum of 5 is because, have a look at this. I've got a fancy diagram here, ladies and gentlemen. So check this out. This is a Parthenon, if you did not recognize it. Can't you see the Roman pillars there? So imagine if your business that you're looking at relied purely on, say, Facebook. So maybe it had one lead generation system where 90% of its leads came from. What happens if Facebook shut you down? Which can happen. Ask me how I know that. Well, because it's happened to me, ladies and gentlemen. It's happened to me. So what happens when they've only got 1 or 2 lead generation systems in a business? Can you see the risk that you're at when you invest in it? They may have a great leads coming in from Google and from Facebook, but if you know much about the online world, you know that Google can slap you silly and Facebook can shut your page down without any notification at all. So make sure that whatever business model you're looking at has at least 5 lead generation systems. Then you say to them, okay, well, how many leads do you get? And if they don't have a good answer for how many leads that you generate in a month, it means they don't know their numbers very well, which should put a warning bell in your thought processes as well. What about the cost per lead? So the cost per lead, how much does it cost me for every lead that I'm getting? And then what about the cost per acquisition? So how much does it cost me to get an actual customer? Now, write these down now. You'll be able to watch this again on replay, but these are so critical for you to be asking before you make any decision on choosing a business. Ask them to see their statistics, okay? Because they should have everything documented, and it shouldn't just be, oh, yes, well, we get this or we get that. You want to see the hard facts, ladies and gentlemen. Just the fact, Jack. So when you're looking at their lead generation systems, they should be documented like you see here. They should be step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Okay, and the reason it should be like that is because, say you buy the business, well, they're not there anymore. So you need to be executing these lead generation systems. So I like to put the quiz to them. I want to say, does this pass the grandma test? Can I put grandma in there to execute the lead generation strategies that you're referring to, and she can still get it done? That's how good the systems should be in the business if you're looking at starting to get involved in an opportunity. Is this making sense? Okay, again, as a business consultant, you're looking at this business and you're saying, okay, well, should I get involved in it or not? So coming to the next one, that's lead generation. Here's my ready reckoner for how they scored. After you ask those questions, you say, all right, well, were they a master or were they a disaster when it comes to their lead generation systems? If they don't have the systems, if they don't have the numbers, if they don't have the processes there, make sure you don't score them very well, okay? But you should just use this. It's very simple, and that's why it works. Score them between 0 and 10 on how good their lead generation systems are, okay? Now let me recap again. Okay, because looking at a business opportunity, if you know there's great margins, you know there's lots of people that want what you have, and you know that their lead generation systems can generate leads at will cost effectively, you're starting to look good for a business that can survive in any situation. Are you with me? So now let's look to the second system. Who remembers what it is? Well, it is, ladies and gentlemen, sales, okay? The highest paid profession on the planet, I'll have you know. So how good is their sales system? What about if I pop up here? Do you like me going up here? There you go. I'll go up there. So how good is their sales system? Well, again, I've got a few questions for you to determine that. So you say, okay, what is your conversion rate? Oh, and by the way, some very important words you should write. This is a write me as well. Trust but verify, okay? When I start working with clients, I kid you not, nearly without exception, I ask them what their conversion rate is, and they all say, oh, it's around about 80%. And then we analyze it, and more often than not, it's generally around about 25 to 30% conversion rate when you have a look at the real numbers. So don't take their word for it. They've got to show you the stats, okay? What's the conversion rate of their sales system? What is their follow-up system? How big is their database? Have they got one? A database is the lifeblood of any business in today's operation. If they don't have a good database, then you should be concerned about this opportunity. How do they stay in contact with their clients? Okay, so I've got one client. I was just on the phone to them the other day. They're now one of the most successful shed companies in South Australia. What was one of their secret weapons? They stayed in contact with their existing clients. So they keep customers for life. Okay, very powerful. And what is their sales training process? How do they train their sales team if they have one? So I say to my clients that whether it's yourself or your team, you should be doing sales training an absolute minimum of 1 hour to 2 hours every week. Every Monday morning, start the week off, hone those skills in sales, because that's the lifeblood of a business. Okay, so now that you've asked those questions and you see that they've got a system, how good is it? Now, what you see before you is an example of our sales system. And when I teach my advisors how to communicate with their clients, I call it the no selling sales system, because literally you shouldn't have to flog your wares. And many of my advisors report a 70% plus conversion rate. Why? Because there is a mechanical process to all of this, ladies and gentlemen. And it's easy to back up the stats, okay? So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for a structured sales system. So how did they score in that? Were they a disaster or a master? All right, again, are you looking through this from the perspective of a business consultant looking for a deal? Okay, here's the next one. Your delivery system. Okay, so your reputation, again, it is so important, especially in the day of the internet. Okay, it used to be you upset someone and they'd tell 12 people. Okay, well, you upset someone now, or you do the wrong thing now, if you don't keep your promises now, it's more like 1,200 people, if not 12,000. So you want to make sure that whatever you say that you're going to provide, you deliver it effectively. So ask these questions. Could I see your reviews and testimonials? That's a good way to know if they're doing a great job. They should have a lot of reviews and testimonials. What are their SOPs, standard operating procedures? Now, that's a bit like that flow chart that I showed you earlier where it does the grandma test. Have they got a procedure for all of the things that they do in their company? Because if you buy that business, they're not there to hold your hand. And believe, isn't it amazing? People will say whatever they can until they get what they want. And then all of a sudden, they seem not to remember what they promised you. So again, you want to see the procedures. You want to see the documentation of how grandma can do each of these processes in a company, okay, as you're thinking of taking it on. What are the KPIs, key performance indicators, for each department? For the lead generation department, for the sales department, for the delivery department, for the admin. KPIs are key performance indicators. Okay, so I won't go too technical into them, but you should have at least 3 or 4 indicators showing that a department is doing well. So example, for lead generation, one of the KPIs is, well, I expect a minimum of 60 leads coming in per month at a cost of $10 per lead, okay, etc., etc., etc. So they're key performance indicators, and they should have those indicators for each division of their company, okay? If they don't have them, again, that's something you should be putting warning bells up there for you. And guys, hey, I'm here, so I am covering a lot, and if you've got questions, put it into the comments. I will get back to all of them. I'll have a look at all of them, and next week I will get my technology where I can look at comments live. So, but I hope this is making sense. Put it into the comment box. Let me know that this is beneficial and you're learning something here. Okay. Now, how about the business? How much of it runs under management? Okay. So, again, what you want to learn is the power of leverage. That more and more you are in business, the more you want to leverage other people's knowledge. That's what you're doing here. You're leveraging my knowledge and other people's time and other people's money, okay? When you learn to leverage those things, you're going to get into that speed wealth zone very, very quickly. So you want a business that can largely run without you or have the potential to. Okay, so that's what we as Street Smart Business Consultants have an end goal of, is we help businesses create an actual business where it is largely run under management so that the owner can enjoy the fruits of their labor. Okay, so who is your team? And if I do buy this business, will they stay? Okay, very, very important questions, because what happens if you buy the business and then the key personnel just disappear? Poof! Not good. I've seen it happen. And have a look at their profits over the last 3 years. Don't just take 1 year into account. Okay? So, how do you rate that? Were they a master or a disaster? what I thought I would do is give you a few examples of some opportunities where you can make sort of 6 figures or plus, okay, to mid 6 figures. And I pulled these off the internet a while ago. So this is a cafe, and it's a franchise, pretty typical for a lot of franchises. Costs you anywhere up to $400,000 for a typical franchise. They'll be doing it tough at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. So the average sort of investment could be around 350K. And when you invest that sort of money, 350K, a lot of those franchise owners are making anywhere between 70 to 100K for the investment of 350K. Okay, just so you have an idea. Here's another example. So let's say you invested in a gym. Okay, well, starting price would for a small gym would be 130K plus stock at value, and that might be another 100K or 150K. So you're looking at sort of 200 to 300K for a good gym. Okay, what sort of money will you get? Well, maybe 100K again. And you remember, you have liabilities when you own a gym. People get injured. You have staff. People can take your clients away from you. Yada, yada, yada. These sorts of things can happen. Here's another option. You might love the hamburger business. So let's just take a hamburger business. If you thought you might want to look at that as an opportunity, well, you need to invest about $1.5 million to run one of these well-known chains. And then you don't actually own the business, you just have the right to run it. And if you're ever wondering what one of these franchisees might be making, it's around about $250 to $350 for that investment, give or take. They're managing 40 to 60 teenagers with raging hormones, and it's 24/7. Okay, so these are some of the opportunities that are out there for you. I thought I'd just take some various ones that a lot of people may think of getting involved in. And I'll give one more example, and that could be, right, well, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to do it the academic way and get an MBA. And mind you, I've taught many people with an MBA. So let's just say you invest $160,000 at Bond University. You spend 2 to 3 years studying. Your starting salary is $100K. Okay, so after maybe 3, 4, 5 years, you may be looking at $150, $200K, somewhere around there. But that's the sort of money that you make when you get an MBA. Okay. Again, let me know in the comments. My apologies that I cannot see you, but I want to know who you are, who's listening to me. Are you getting benefit from this? What am I doing right? What can I improve? And again, any questions that you have, put it in the comments for me. I'm really keen to look at them after I finish this live. Now, I was going to look at the comments to get your response, but virtually send your signals to me. Would it be okay if I give you, for probably 2 minutes, an example of what I believe is the simplest, most lucrative and personally rewarding career on the planet? Now, I am biased. I've worked in many industries and I've built many companies in different niches, but I've never come across a business model that is as amazing as this one is. And I'm trying not to be biased here, ladies and gentlemen, okay? So I'm hoping it's okay for me just to, because I do have a bias. One of the themes of this group is for me to make you aware of the amazing world of business consulting. I lead a blessed life these days in this career. So here's what's involved if you consider the business model of being a consultant. Number one, very little capital to get started. Number two, very low overheads. Now, in fact, our margins are like 90, 95%. The only cost really is a little bit of marketing, and generally $3,000 to $5,000 of marketing costs, and you've got enough to have yourself a 6-figure income a lot of the time. Little to no staff. You don't need staff to make a mid 6-figure income. After you get past the 500K mark, yes, you probably would want a PA working with you. And you really have a genuine opportunity, regardless of your background, to make, say, mid 6 figures quite reasonably. I've got many advisors I've trained that have 7-figure consulting practices. In fact, quite a number of them are a lot more successful than I am. if you're talking finances. So, I really believe that it is one of the best business models on the planet. And so the reason I'm sharing that is that I do have a training coming up on the 5th till the 7th of March. And if you like the idea of making great money by helping other people succeed, then why don't you shoot me a note and have a conversation with me? I'm going to put a link down below. And if you are interested in doing what I do, I only take on 4 people at a time. And actually 2 of them, I think, if I could see the stats, are on this training right now. And there's another one that's half committed. So I've sort of got 1.5 places left for this upcoming training. If you do like the idea of becoming a business consultant and you are very motivated, so you do want to create a mid-6-figure income for yourself, like by building a consulting practice, so I'd like to have a conversation with you and see if we are a good fit. And that's about all I got to say on the subject, because again, my main focus is to help you from a broader perspective, whether you are a business owner, you're thinking of going into business, maybe you're thinking of changing careers. I want to share information with you that's going to help you keep moving forward. So yes, I have a slight agenda, but the bigger picture is I just genuinely want to help you guys keep moving forward. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, again, I'm doing a lot of this virtually, but play full tilt with me because I can't see you on the other end of my comments at the moment, but let me know, what was your best thing from what I've shared with you tonight? What was your takeaway? What have you got questions about? Let me know about it, because I will address it, and I will respond to all of your comments. I hope you learned something here today. Again, just a quick recap for all of you before thinking of any opportunity to get involved but want what you have. Consider the lifestyle, okay, the sort of hours and sacrifices you may have to make to carry out and run that business. Then you look at their lead generation systems to see how good they really are. Then you see what their real sales conversions are by having a look at the leads that have come in and then the sales that were made in that month, and you match them up. Don't trust the vendor, okay? Trust but verify. Okay, and then look at the delivery systems. Have they got systems and processes in place, okay, to make sure that... That's about all I got for today. Let me know if I did a great... Let me know if I did a bad job. Just let me know either way. And again, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I do believe you're a predictable way for you to become financially secure. Till next time, see you soon.